the leaders, skeptics, and cynics who told us to sit down and stay silent, wait your turn. Welcome to the revolution.
Now on KZI 9 News, students taking to the streets of Washington today and across the U.S. demanding action to end gun violence.
We have a community of young people who are as equally upset and angry as we are.
Their message to elected officials: change the nation's gun laws or risk another senseless school attack.
Karen Paskey said, no more asking, no more asking. This is demanding.
But not everyone thinks today's protest will bring appropriate change. We'll take a look at both sides of the issue. KZI 9 News starts now.
Live, local, late breaking. This is KZI 9 News at 6.
More than 6,000 people gathered in downtown Eugene today for the March for Our Lives rally. Police say it was just as many people, if not more, than this year's Women's March. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Rachel Maurer. The students and other community members marched to demand change to make schools safer in the wake of gun violence. KZI 9 News reporter Macy Hyland was at today's march. She's live in the studio with what exactly these students want to see changed. Macy.
Well, Rachel, all student leaders that I spoke to today, they said they really wanted to emphasize to me that this is about the regulation of guns, not eliminating them. The students tell me they're sick of living in fear about going to school, and something needs to be done to fix that. Cheers and chants roared through the crowd outside of the federal courthouse this morning. Students and other speakers had begun their speeches demanding change in national gun regulation. Although people of all ages and backgrounds attended, Eugene's March for Our Lives was organized by students. Students who tell me since they're too young to vote, this is how they can raise awareness and promote change. They say even though they're too young to vote, they're absolutely not too young to know what they're talking about.
If we're old enough to be shot at schools, then we're old enough to have an opinion about being shot at schools.
The students say that they shouldn't be facing senseless violence in their schools. And they understand that gun regulations aren't the only step in making that happen, but they feel they're an important first step. And to many people attending today, part of those regulations included much stricter policies on assault weapons.
And I would tell you, there are times I carried an assault rifle every day as part of my military duties, and they always put it back in the armory at the end of the day. We just don't have any reason to have those kind of guns on our streets.
Wilde is a 23-year veteran and a Eugene police commissioner. He expressed that even with his own personal experience handling assault rifles, he didn't see any reason they should exist outside of very controlled situations. He says he's a huge proponent for proper gun storage, as too many people are killed with other people's guns. Survivors of past shootings were included in the people attending and the speakers. Bettina Lynn was shot twice in the Thurston High School shooting, once in the back and once in the foot. She says she struggled with trying to make change and failing for nearly 20 years that followed that shooting. It makes her happy and hopeful to see the conversation expanding and change now on the horizon.
More people are talking about it. More people are talking about whatever the solution is, something needs to change. This is ridiculous. Our kids should not be slaughtered in their schools.
Obviously, there were many community members today who did not attend the march or agree with the goals behind it. We had people reach out to us today suggesting a better way to stop these shootings is by addressing school security, not gun regulation. Unfortunately, none of those people were able to meet up with us today, but we encourage you to continue reaching out and sharing your ideas with us. Live in the studio, Macy Hyland, KZI 9 News.
Thank you, Macy. Eugene is just one of many cities across the country doing that today. In Portland, thousands gathered in the downtown area. Students stepped up to the microphone and spoke out against gun violence in schools.
To every lawmaker, candidate, and board member who dodges questions of gun violence, ignores the slaughter of youth, and who takes money from big-name companies, I've got something to say. Remember when you told us we could be anything when we grow up? Well, we're all grown up and we're coming for you.
The National Rifle Association took to social media this weekend to slam that massive protest. On Facebook, the NRA characterized the movement as a sham organized by, quote, Hollywood elites and gun-hating billionaires. The posting accused those billionaires and elites of manipulating the youth protesters in an effort to, quote, destroy the Second Amendment. People have been sounding off today all day on Facebook about that march. Jane writing, marching to take rights away. I don't understand the ignorance. Justin says, in short, they don't want guns in schools. Cool, I agree. Remodel the schools to resemble airports or prisons. One way in. Body scanners and the school officer at the security check. And Shelley says, I'm wondering why our airports and courthouses are secure, but when it comes to our schools, children are sitting ducks. If you want to continue this conversation, you can like us on Facebook and Twitter. And for more information on today's march, go to our website, KEZI.com. Eugene police are looking for a person they say robbed a Little Caesars Pizza at gunpoint last night. It happened around 9:40 last night at the Seneca Road location. They say the suspect ran off with cash, but when police arrived, they were unable to find him. Police say last night's robbery does not appear to be related to the off-campus robberies. The American Red Cross says there was a fire off of Knight Road in Elmira at about 1 this morning. They say it impacted a family of 2. That was an adult and a child. Disaster responders are helping to provide resources to them. Now to an update. We now know the name of the woman killed earlier this week while riding her bike in Eugene. Police say 36-year-old Rebecca Noble of Springfield was hit by a vehicle around 11:40 Wednesday night. It happened on West 11th Avenue near Green Hill Road. They say she died at the scene. An Oregon man is facing charges for allegedly making hoax distress calls to the Coast Guard in 2016. 35-year-old Bud Bercleo of Warrington pleaded not guilty Friday at the federal courthouse in Portland. An indictment alleges he made 4 calls that led to the Coast Guard needlessly dispatching personnel. He's also accused of lying to federal investigators. Meteorologist Connor Lewis is live in the Storm Tracker 9 Weather Center with a look at our forecast. Connor, at least a few more days of the gloomy weather, then some sun?
Yeah, we'll get a little bit of sun and really drying out, some warmer temperatures, 50s, maybe some 60s coming our way. And we've been discussing how we need rain, we need snow. Our snowpack is roughly 75% of normal, and we've done some good work over the past couple of days. New snow in the past 24 hours are in those small blue boxes, 6 inches at Bachelor Meadows, 4 inches at Hoodoo, and doesn't really matter, but Willamette Pass 3 inches. Unfortunately, they're still not open. So really good skiing conditions for tomorrow. Today was really nice POW day, spring POW day. Tomorrow, pretty good too. Once we start to warm up a little bit, that snow is going to slush up. So if you can get out tomorrow, it'll be some really nice conditions. Along I-5, we've got some light showers mainly towards the north, and we're watching some showers popping up along the coast, definitely producing rain. As far as them actually getting onshore, it's looking less and less likely. We're going to be fairly dry for the rest of the evening. Can't rule out some more showers. Overall, still pretty chilly too. 46 degrees in Roseburg, 40s along the coast too, 43 in Corvallis, sub-freezing temperatures at the passes, and not only are we worried about some black ice for the passes, but we're still worried about some black ice coming up for us as well. 32-degree mark in Corvallis and Eugene. Roseburg above freezing, but even towards the south we could see a couple of these hidden areas with that freezing mark. Be very careful with that black ice tomorrow morning. We had some real issues with that this morning, so hopefully no more accidents for the rest of your weekend. And we'll have a closer look at our remaining rain chances coming up in just a bit.
Thank you, Connor. The Oregon's women's basketball team is heading back to the Elite Eight for a second year in a row. The Ducks game just wrapped up a little under an hour ago as the team beat out Central Michigan in Spokane, Washington. And KEZI 9 sports reporter Jonathan Stile joins us live with our coverage of the game presented by Bimart. Jonathan.
That's right, Rachel. It's sweet to elite for the Oregon women's basketball team for a second straight year. It wasn't always pretty for the Ducks early on. They really struggled shooting the three, but they got it down low to their bigs. They got it to Ruthie Hebert, Audie Gilden, Mallory McGuire, and the Ducks really started to take over from there. And Kelly Graves' message to the team afterwards was, you know, it wasn't our best game, but it doesn't matter because we're headed back to the Elite Eight.
I loved our energy early in the game. I thought defensively we were on point for the first half. Second half we got a little lax, and they started hitting some threes. But you know, I thought the three ball might be the key to the game, and neither team shot it very well. So for two teams that rely on the three a lot, none of us shot it well. But all in all, you guys, it was a really good game, and I'm really proud of these guys and excited that we're playing another day.
And no, the Ducks didn't shoot well from the three-point range, but they really didn't need to. Like I mentioned, they were just able to get the ball down low, especially to Ruthie Hebert. I'll have more on her big performance in the Sweet 16 matchup coming up later on in sports. But for now, live in Spokane, Washington, Jonathan Stile, KEZI 9 Sports.
Thank you, Jonathan. The Oregon State Beavers will also be competing in the Elite Eight of that women's tournament. The Beavers upset Baylor yesterday afternoon in Lexington, Kentucky. KEZI 9 sports reporter Haley Lewis is live in Lexington with a preview of the next test for the Beavers, presented by Oregon State Credit Union. Haley.
That's right. Now Oregon State turns their eyes to the Louisville Cardinals, who will almost have a home crowd advantage as Louisville's campus is only about an hour away from Rupp Arena right here in Lexington. Now, a ton of Beaver Nation traveled all the way out east to support the ladies. However, the Cardinals fan base filled about half of Rupp Arena in Friday night's matchup against Stanford. So Oregon State will have to throw the crowd out of their mind, but they've been prepared to do so all season, facing grueling fan bases throughout the Pac-12 conference. Now, the mental game will only be about half the battle for the Beavers. Statistically speaking, Louisville has remained rock solid all season. The Cardinals took it to Stanford in the Sweet 16, a team Oregon State painfully fell to at home by only 3 points. Asia Durr and Maisha Hines are the best chance Louisville has at winning a title game. Durr put up 24 points, while Hines put up 17 in Friday night's game against Stanford. Earlier Saturday, head coach Scott Rueck said the matchup will be tough. There was not a lot of sleep Friday night, but it'll be fun to face a team who plays the same game as Oregon State does.
Louisville hits you in a lot of different ways, and so it's not just one matchup. It's a collective force that they play with, and it's intensity that they play with, the speed that they play with. That's why they've done what they've done this year. And within that, you know, they certainly have some really special talent. You know, Asia is incredible, and Hines is unbelievable, and you know, you just go on down the roster, you know, and so they can hurt you in a variety of ways, you know, but I think it's just like our team, you know, they've got 5 pieces at all times that are working together.
Tip-off is set for 9 a.m. Pacific time. With a win, the Oregon State Beavers will advance to the Final Four, the second in school history, with the last being back in 2016. They would face either Mississippi State or UCLA. However, a loss would end the Beavers' season. However, you can catch all the in-game action on ESPN. We'll also be running highlights of the game as well as exclusive locker room interviews you don't want to miss. As for now, live outside Rupp Arena, Haley Lewis, KZI 9 Sports.
Thanks, Haley. A Woodward family is holding on to hope that their mother will return 8 months after her disappearance. Coming up next on KZI 9 News, what they're now doing in hopes of getting tips about her whereabouts. And do you have a tip or a story idea? We would love to hear it. You can email us at listens@kzi.com or give us a call, 284-KZI.
Live, local, late breaking. This is KZI 9 News at 6.
8 months after Woodburn mother vanished, her family is holding on to hope that she'll still return. And there's new incentive for information leading to where she is, a $10,000 reward. Catherine Cook spoke to her parents and explains why they believe she was kidnapped.
We just pray every day that Cynthia comes home, that we find out where she's at.
It's a prayer Angelica Castillo has sent up every day since her daughter, 26-year-old Cynthia Martinez, disappeared July 16th. Her family says Cynthia, a mother of 4, was with friends that day celebrating a quinceañera. That night, they invited her out to Tequila Nights Bar and Grill in Kaiser.
Never heard from her again.
And we knew something had happened because it wasn't like her to stay away or not talk to us within a day.
Surveillance video shows Cynthia leaving the bar around 2:30 in the morning with 2 men, one of them identified as 30-year-old Jaime Alvarez Olivera. Police have named him a person of interest in the case.
He's the one that knows where she's at, what happened.
We know that he made it all the way to Molalla that night and then back to Woodburn where he's from. And then after that, he fled.
Now the FBI is offering a reward of up to $8,000, and Crime Stoppers of Oregon is offering up to $2,500 for information leading to Cynthia or the arrest and conviction of those behind her disappearance.
I hope that it helps bring more information and eventually, of course, help find Cynthia.
In the meantime, the prayers continue, not just from the Castillos, but from their 4 grandkids, now under their care.
You know, it's just very devastating telling our grandkids, you know, keep praying. We never want them to lose that hope, but they need their mom.
A dog breeder near Bend has been charged with 2 counts of felony animal neglect. It comes after the seizure of 53 dogs from her property in Lapine by authorities back on March 16th. Authorities say 63-year-old Pamela Kyler cooperated with investigators and did release the ownership of those dogs. The 53 dogs have been taken to humane societies in Bend and Portland. A 37-year-old man is facing charges after police say he tried to destroy the Golden Arches at a McDonald's restaurant in Sutherland. They say it was because workers refused to make him 30 double cheeseburgers. According to the News Review, Jedediah Fulton was arrested on March 16th. Police say he destroyed a banner, attacked the arches, and grabbed a person by the shirt. The first meeting to replace outgoing Senator Jeff Cruz was scheduled for today. The Oregon Republican Party says officials from the 5 counties that make up Cruz's district will meet in Coquille. The members from Douglas, Jackson, Josephine, Curry, and Coos counties will nominate 3 to 5 candidates. Their names will be forwarded to the Secretary of State's office and eventually voted on by the county boards of all 5 counties. Cruz officially resigned on March 15th over allegations of sexual harassment against women, including other senators, which he has denied. Oregon wildlife officials are taking steps against sea lions that they say were killing wild winter steelhead and spring Chinook salmon. Oregon wildlife officials say the species of fish will go extinct if nothing changes. Wildlife managers already can trap and euthanize limited numbers of sea lions in the Columbia River, but now they want approval from the U.S. government to do the same at Willamette Falls. Now to a recall alert. The Albany Fire Department says they received notice about a recall on the Kitty dual sensor smoke alarms. The recall affects the model listed on your screen. Residents who received a smoke alarm from Albany Fire Department from September in 2016 to January 2018 should remove the smoke alarm and look for a yellow cap. Those caps can cover one of 2 sensors and compromise the smoke alarm's ability to detect smoke. If you do find a yellow cap or you're unable to check your smoke detector, call the fire department.
We're almost done. We got 2 more days of potential rain coming our way before we start to see the sun and our temperatures start to rise. I'll have a closer look when we come back after the break.
Now, Storm Tracker 9 weather with meteorologist Connor Lewis.
Icy roads are going to be a concern for tomorrow. This morning we had a ton of accidents, especially towards the south where we had some colder temperatures from black ice this morning. Shouldn't be as bad as it was coming up for tomorrow as it was today because things are going to be a little less saturated, but anywhere that's getting some rain now will be a concern for black ice tomorrow, mainly going to be the coast and Willamette Valley. Also going to be an ice concern is at the passes. Sandium Pass has more slush and snow at the moment, so definitely some extra ice over there. Chains still required on those roads. And for Willamette Pass, we have some wet roads, which could certainly turn into, as soon as right now, with sub-freezing temperatures, especially overnight when we get some less traffic. Be on the lookout for some icy spots. The low pressure is still circulating offshore. It's going to be dragging in some more showers for the coast, and it's going to be kind of now or never for a lot of our showers in the Willamette Valley, which are going on right now. Finally seeing some light rain. Eugene North, Junction City, Corvallis, Albany, Salem, Portland, and really not so much Eugene. We're kind of just on the fringe of some of those showers towards the south. Roseburg, some drizzle, light rain in Douglas County. Otherwise, really not that much rain. A couple of these smaller showers popping up on the coast. You can see some of them offshore with our satellite too, and they're going to keep trying to come on shore. We still have some great chances to see additional showers for the rest of the evening. Once we get to 8 o'clock, really good chances along the coast to get some leftover showers. You can see in the Pacific that low pressure is starting to give it all it's got. Some of those clouds, the last of the clouds are going to start pushing on shore. Once we get to 9:30, still good chances in some areas, mainly towards the south, of getting some showers into Sunday morning. Tomorrow, got some black ice out there, overcast. The sun is not really going to be a factor tomorrow. Isolated showers along the coast. Cascade getting some, maybe about an inch or so snow or so over the course of tomorrow morning. Once we get to noon, showers popping up on the Coast Range. They hop over to the I-5 corridor. So tomorrow is a piece of cake. We're just going to see some showers. Could see some small hail in some of those showers. And then by 6 p.m., we're getting some nice colors for our sunset before overcast returns yet again for Monday. This is our last round of showers before we finally get a break in the rain. Monday is looking pretty good, especially towards the north to get some persistent showers through Monday morning, and the coast will certainly end up with more. Isolated showers for the coast on Tuesday, and then we're done. Wednesday, just a slight chance of rain. Thursday, Friday, Saturday looking good into our next weekend. For the Umpqua Basin, further south you go, the less rain you're going to get over the next 2 days. Tuesday, we're going to shoot those temperatures up, 61 degrees and even hotter on Wednesday, 67 degrees. And Thursday is looking like it's going to be the sunniest day across the boards. For the passes, a couple of days of slushy snow coming up. Still pretty cold overnight, 17 degrees coming up for Willamette Pass, and then much warmer on Tuesday, so we're not so worried about freezing roads although 26 degrees for that morning low on Tuesday. For the Willamette Valley, isolated showers coming our way tomorrow, and I think a couple of those showers could have some small hail, especially in the Coast Range. Showers on Monday, slight chance on Tuesday, and this is one of those weeks where it's a lot better to be in Oregon than Washington. They're going to be dealing with overcast pretty much the whole week, some light showers here or there, but we're going to be seeing the sun once it's finally time to warm up here.
Yep, can't wait. Thank you, Connor. ODOT and the Washington Department of Transportation have both extended studded tire season. The last day will now be Sunday, April 15th. Officials say they expect Oregon's mountain passes to receive some significant snow in the next few weeks. However, if you're not planning to travel in those areas, they ask that you don't wait to swap out your tires. The normal studded tire season goes from November 1st through March 31st. Steals and deals, what you need to know about getting the best bang for your buck as Toys R Us liquidates its stores. Stick with us, KZI 9 News. We'll be right back. Now to a money alert. April 17th is just around the corner. It's a date you may be dreading if you owe income tax and don't have a clue how to come up with the money. But don't panic. There are ways to manage your federal income tax bill that are surprisingly easy.
Hands down, the most important thing, no matter how much you can or cannot pay, is to file your tax return on time.
If you don't, the IRS will charge a penalty of 5% of what you owe per month plus interest. It's best to pay as much as you can by that April deadline to minimize penalties. If you can pay the full bill within 120 days, you'll still pay penalties and interest on the balance. An installment plan is even more expensive. You'll pay to set it up, and it'll cost you an interest and penalties depending on the length of the payment term. As hundreds of Toys R Us stores start to close across the country, big savings are on the way. But what can you score and when? The store in Emeryville, California is closing up to 3 weeks ahead of the other stores. That gives you a sneak peek into the coming discounts nationwide. Shelves of popular toys with prices are slashed beyond 50%. So what tactics can you make the most out of liquidation sale?
As you wait 3-4 weeks down the line, the prices are thoroughly slashed down to the bare bone.
But be careful, because once you've bought it, it's yours forever. The store will not be there anymore, so that means no customer service and no refund. While the store prepares to close, there's now a push to save Toys R Us. Toy company executive Isaac Larian, who heads the company that makes Bratz dolls, is now launching a crowdfunding campaign to try to keep hundreds of Toys R Us stores open. The goal there is to raise $1 billion. We're continuing our coverage of today's March for Our Lives rally. Coming up next on KZI 9 News, take a look at hundreds of rallies across not only the country, but the world. And here's a live look out over Roseburg.